Have you ever wondered if the ancient Egyptians were hiding something far bigger than pyramids and mummies? What if their secrets weren't just about kings and tombs, but about advanced technologies we can't even fully explain today? This isn't the version of Egypt you read about in textbooks. This is the side of history that researchers, archaeologists, and conspiracy theorists have argued about for decades. And the more you dig into it, the stranger it gets. 1. The mystery of stone cutting. Let us start with one of the biggest puzzles. How in the world did the Egyptians cut through granite and diorite stones so tough that even modern saws struggle? The traditional story says they used copper chisels and wooden mallets. Sounds believable until you realize copper is softer than granite. Try hitting granite with copper and you'll end up with a broken chisel, not a perfectly carved block. But here's where things get interesting. Archaeologists discovered traces of a mysterious black tar-like substance on tools found at quarry sites. When this substance was applied, tools seemed to slice through stone with shocking ease. If that's true, the Egyptians didn't just use primitive tools, they engineered a chemical advantage we still don't fully understand. So here's the question: why can't modern science reproduce this exact formula? Was it lost forever or hidden for a reason? But that's only the beginning. Their genius wasn't just in cutting stone, but in making structures that could outlast time itself. 2. Secrets of the Pyramid's endurance. The Great Pyramids aren't just impressive, they're practically indestructible. Think about it. Thousands of years, countless sandstorms, earthquakes, floods, yet they're still standing tall. How? The answer lies in precision. Each block was cut and placed with microscopic accuracy. The internal design wasn't random either, it was a masterpiece of physics. Chambers, angled corridors, and perfectly aligned stones distributed weight so evenly that collapse was nearly impossible. And then there's the outer layer, gleaming white limestone blocks that once reflected the desert sun like a giant mirror. But beyond their beauty, those casing stones acted like armor, shielding the pyramid from erosion and weathering. What's even stranger, the construction eliminated weak points where water could seep in. Even modern buildings crumble when water damage sets in, but these pyramids were practically waterproof. It makes you wonder, were the Egyptians applying engineering principles we didn't rediscover until the modern era? If the pyramids were just tombs, why make them last forever? And if you think that's strange, wait until you hear about the riddle of the Sphinx. 3. The Sphinx and lost technology. The Great Sphinx of Giza has stared across the desert for thousands of years, but the biggest mystery isn't its face, it's how it was built. Weighing over 200 tons, massive stone blocks were somehow moved nearly half a mile with almost laser-like precision. The mainstream theory says ramps and levers. Sounds simple, right? But engineers who've tried to recreate the feat admit that the logistics don't fully add up. That's why conspiracy theories flourish here. Some suggest the Egyptians tapped into advanced lost technology. Others more extreme point to extraterrestrial help. After all, how do you explain that level of precision at a time when most civilizations were still figuring out basic tools? Whether you believe the alien angle or not, the fact remains, no one has a definitive explanation. The Sphinx sits there like a silent riddle, daring us to solve it. But not all of Egypt's secrets are carved in stone. Some of their most overlooked genius floated on water. 4. Mastery of Nile boats. The Nile was the lifeline of Egypt. Without it, their civilization wouldn't have thrived. But it wasn't just about having a river, it was about mastering it. Egyptian boats weren't crude rafts. They built sophisticated vessels from papyrus, reeds, and wood, engineered to handle everything from swampy channels to massive cargo loads. They even mastered sailing both upstream and downstream, something that required clever use of sails and oars. These boats weren't only practical, they were spiritual. Egyptians believed the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife happened aboard a boat. Elaborate boat burials were common, with vessels carefully placed beside tombs for the king's eternal voyage. So while other civilizations struggled to cross rivers, Egypt turned their river into a highway of power, wealth, and spiritual meaning. But if you think boats were impressive, just wait until you see what they did with something as simple as clay. 5. Ceramic breakthroughs. To most people, pottery sounds boring. But Egyptian ceramics were anything but ordinary. Their kilns reached temperatures so high, some experts still puzzle over how they achieved it with ancient fuels. The result, pots, jars, and decorative pieces so strong they've lasted thousands of years. And they weren't just durable, they were beautiful. Intricate designs, vibrant glazes, and patterns that rival modern ceramic art. Some pieces were purely functional, others ceremonial, and many were sealed inside tombs as eternal companions for the dead. Pottery might sound small compared to pyramids, but it shows something bigger. Egyptians weren't just builders, they were innovators at every scale. And that innovation shines brightest in their glass work. 6. The secrets of Egyptian glass. Imagine holding a piece of glass so clear, so colorful, that people from across the ancient world traveled just to buy it. That was Egyptian glass. They invented frit glass melting and fusing tiny fragments to create vibrant, translucent objects. Their glassmakers achieved brilliance and strength that left rivals stunned. Even more impressive, they pioneered glass-blowing techniques, producing delicate hollow objects centuries before many other civilizations caught on. For Egyptians, glass wasn't just practical, it was power. Brightly colored amulets, ornaments, and mosaic tiles decorated temples and palaces. To own Egyptian glass was to display wealth and status. The real kicker, some of their methods are still debated today. How did they achieve such purity and precision with the tools they had? Another secret lost to time, but the story doesn't end there. Because if their glass was astonishing, their mastery of metal was even more mind-blowing. 7. Egypt's mastery of metal. The Egyptians didn't just dabble in metals, they mastered them. Gold, silver, copper, iron, bronze, they worked them all, shaping everything from delicate jewelry to lethal weapons. They developed advanced techniques for smelting, casting, and alloying, creating bronze tools and statues with incredible detail. Their goldsmiths made pieces so intricate they'd still turn heads in a modern jewelry store. And here's the kicker. How did they reach the high temperatures needed for all this, with what looked like primitive furnaces? Some experts suggest hidden methods of airflow or chemical additives that boosted heat far beyond normal fire. Whatever the secret, one thing is clear. Egyptian metallurgy wasn't primitive, it was advanced, precise, and thousands of years ahead of its time. Conclusion. So when you put all of this together, stone cutting, pyramid engineering, the Sphinx, boats, ceramics, glass, and metals, you get a picture of a civilization that wasn't just powerful, but possibly more advanced than we give them credit for. And that leaves us with one haunting question. Were the Egyptians simply masters of trial and error, or did they tap into knowledge and techniques the modern world has forgotten? What do you think? Were these secrets lost forever? Or is there more to uncover? If this journey through ancient mysteries fascinated you, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next hidden chapter of history.